Good morning, Mahesh sir. And
Good morning.
thank you so very much for joining me for present conversation this morning, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much for choosing me.
Sir, it's a privilege for me actually to have conversation with you. Uh,
Thank
Sir, you are jurist, activist, teacher, and a very renowned advocate. It would not be possible for anyone to describe you in a single sentence. Which role you enjoy the most?
you. You use more adjectives than really what I am. But anyway, I'm thankful to you. Uh, I have coincidentally experienced to appear right from the magistrate's court regularly for few years. I also fought out cases and argued in the Supreme Court. I had also experienced a few cases of court martial and constitutional matters, labor matters, pure civil litigation these days,
Right,
trial court as well as appellate court. And it really, it's enjoyable. All sorts of litigation is really interesting. It's not so that one litigation is inferior than other litigation.
true.
I've never felt so. But ultimately, I would love to work in the trial court than higher courts
Oh,
because there it is lively. You
mm-hmm.
are in touch with human beings,
True.
your clients, opponents, and ultimately high court work becomes dry. You don't hardly meet any humans, and it's only paper. It becomes very mechanical. That's what my experience of both the sides
Right,
tells me. Today, if I have to start de novo, I would like to go for trial
right,
and not the court where there is no human interaction.
right.
And beyond law, there are possibilities and opportunities to solve the problems by
Right.
meeting the people directly, including your opponents.
Mm.
That opportunity is not there in the High Court.
Right.
High Court, you mechanically argue law.
Right. Sir, you said that High Court and the other appellate courts have become more mechanical. So, what are the measures that now should be taken, at least from the side of the bar, to overcome that mechanical process and to make it to be more human, to have a human touch?
The whole system is such that clients generally don't attend appellate work. So it is there is practically this is the way in which it may function. It can function
Right.
because you can't afford to crawl clients on every adjournment, it's and then also you don't come in touch. In trial court, person comes the witness box. People are waiting outside the court at that time, and to your surprise, in my trial court experience in highly contested cases, there were not less than half a dozen cases when opponents suggested to the judge that our opponent lawyer Mahesh will be our arbitrator,
Mm.
provided his client agrees.
Right.
Such interesting occasion and appreciation does take place in the trial.
True. True, sir.
And 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 there are many methods you can resolve the problem, but provided you meet the person. If you don't meet the person in person, how can you pursue him to come to the right path, come to pursue him to let go something, make some compromises in the matter, let go something. It's not possible. Anyway, that's a different story, but it goes on.
True,
It
sir.
goes.
True, sir. Sir, you are also more an activist rather than a professional advocate. So, how are you involved in such social activities, and how do you cope up with that social activity?
Uh, some to some extent family background because there were lots of talks in the family because my father was scholar in economics and he was a good lawyer, knew good jurisprudence, and that enthusiasm to work something for the masses from day first when I entered the profession. And fortunately, I came in contact with Justice M.P. Thakkar. He was city court judge at that time.
Yes.
And he was my source of inspiration, that even by process of law, you can solve some problem of the working class or poor people.
Right.
You can apply the law, and in spite of or apart from direct action of strike, etc., by due process of law also, certain problems of the workers can be, or poor people can be resolved.
Right.
That's the inspiration which is the person I can say is my mentor, from which I got the inspiration to work for the legally work for the poor people.
Right.
And that is how things developed. Then next, in the course of time, I met Girish Patel, LLM from Harvard,
Yes.
on full scholarship.
Very true.
And as soon as he got the degree, next day he came to Ahmedabad and started working for the poor people.
Right.
And we were very close friends, and he was my friend, philosopher, and guide. And I was his friend and guide also. Not philosopher, I was his guide.
Right, sir.
And it was a good combination for many social legal work,
Right.
including public interest litigation.
Right.
In many of his cases of public litigation, he recommended me as a court commissioner, and court readily appointed me to inquire, investigate, enforce certain labor laws in Gujarat.
Right.
And that is how I was attracted. Thakkar Sahib also told me to practically and in reality to organize Lok Adalats in Gujarat.
Right.
And I have attended not less than 100 Lok Adalats, right from Kutch to Valsad.
Right.
And we were trying to solve the problem. And I should not boast, but successfully, about 80% cases by the evening we used to resolve by pursuing both the sides and talking with them on that level.
Right.
It could be resolved. And there are many interesting things. Once in Limdi and Lok Adalat, when Dalit was fighting case against Pepari Mahajan.
Right.
And he told his story. Then I just asked him, what can be the solution? The poor man says that for 2 years my case is going on. Many times I tried to tell the judge my case, but I was never heard. And the judge always told me that you engage a lawyer will talk, don't talk. And you are the first time that somebody has heard me. Now I have not to give solution. Whatever you say, I am prepared to accept. So the system, it speaks a lot about the system.
Right.
That when litigant is totally ignored in the process.
True. Very true.
Litigant has no access.
Very true, sir.
And litigant does not understand sometimes in English arguments, and he is at a loss that what is going on.
Very true.
Because generally nobody talks with him.
Very true.
So whether this British system of jurisprudence of this Evidence Act and Procedure Act and English medium, whether this foreign blood can be infused efficiently in Indian judiciary is doubtful. There can be many other better jurisprudence or better way of resolving the common man problem. Instead of making it so formal, it can be little informal.
True. Very true. Sir, what sort of informalities you propose to be made? In the
I propose to make that in every civil case, a person must be on the first or second date must be able to tell everything to the court that what is this case, person to person, directly, not lawyer. And then defendant also should be informally, without administering oath, should be able to say what is this case.
Right.
Directly, without a legal assistance. And a judge may first of all try to resolve the dispute as a mediator.
Very
But all formality, plaint, written statement, issues, document evidence, oral evidence. So people are at loss what is going on. They don't understand that what is going on my case.
Very true.
And only people are waiting in the court to know the next adjournment.
True, sir.
That is the achievement at the evening. Everybody asks each other, all clients, all litigants, that you've got the next date, you've got the next date. That's the only object for which is coming to the court, to know the next date. Okay. So much improvement is required. Much improvement. But anyway.
Sir, sir, you said that you have been involved in various PILs. Sir, can you explain for us the scope and nature of the PIL in the present days?
Concept has come from class action in USA originally.
Yes.
And PIL, as we understand theoretical and jurisprudential, is that only locus is compromised. So it is not so that only aggrieved person can come to the court, but on behalf of the deprived section or the poor section, anybody take the cause, and court will not ask, are you aggrieved person? And that is how the first evolution or first step in evolution of the public interest.
Right.
Next is whether there is violation of fundamental right, number one, or whether there is violation of any act enacted, not formal act like town planning, etc.
Right.
Act in furtherance of enforcement or implementation of directive principle of Constitution or fundamental right.
Right.
And it must be restricted and limited to this only.
Right.
Not beyond that. That somebody has constructed 2-story of house unauthorizedly, it cannot be a public interest litigation. It's an enforcement of law. Somehow corporation or authority has paid, it will meet its fate.
Right.
So it's not for, in my humble view, it's not for Supreme Court to or High Court to say demolish 2 floors.
Correct.
But suppose there is a complaint of large scale non-payment of minimum wages,
right,
in particular industry. So Justice Bhagwati's view is that not to pay minimum wages amounts to compelling a worker to work economically. So it is as good as physical force, and
Right.
therefore it is a type of a forced labor. Therefore, under Article 32, constitutional powers, High Court will exercise fundamental.
right,
But a simple, this work is not done, particular quarters, particular servants, government servant of retirement do not vacate. It's a matter, administrative petty matters. And sometimes in High Court there are so Sarpanch has constructed one room on the public street. They're all disputes, civil disputes. I would think that it's not for me. Interest litigation. And because of false, frivolous public interest litigation, real public interest litigation, it's become very difficult to spare time for that and entertain those. And trend is changing. Trend is changing.
right,
For years it was so. That is, any PIL, if we made a complaint that there is a failure of payment of minimum wages in particular industry, sensitivity of the court was so high that court's conscience was shaken. And immediately it commences with harsh ad interim orders.
right,
Nowadays, things are different. Trend is changing. Of course, both are legal views. We can't say which is correct.
correct,
Let the jurists decide. But now, many a time we get the reply that alternative remedy, you go to payment wage authority. Why do you come to High Court?
right,
Number one. Second, let every worker go and make grievance. It's a personal grievance.
Right.
It's not collective grievance, and therefore PI is not maintainable.
Very true.
And recently, one such case failed in respect of large scale failure of payment of beneficiaries to watchmen in Gujarat. There was sufficient data, sufficient survey by law students of one of the Progressive Law College of Gujarat, and students filed the petition, which was not entertained on the ground of alternative remedy.
Right.
Otherwise, thousands of watchmen were not undisputedly paid minimum wage.
Right.
It's not entertained. So trend is changing. And both the views are correct legally, because we are not seeing judgment which view is right. But we would prefer the previous. And previous view is more in consonance with the directive principles. That's our humble view. We might be wrong.
Right. Sir, you said that PIL has been also misused. So what should be the remedial measures in order to see that the PIL cannot be misused?
It is like it has to be self-imposed restriction by the judges, because it's a constitutional remedy. There can't be any procedure, and legislation also cannot legislate and should not.
Correct.
Because it's under 226, you can't restrict it, you can't modify it, or you can't control it. It must be self-imposed. What side of public investigation is to be entertained?
Right.
Today, some high court says that anybody without having been any migrant worker, without having been tested for corona, should not be permitted in particular state. Next day, Supreme Court has to grant stay. Next day, Supreme Court grants stay. Both are right. Both are right. But
very. Sir, if you can share...
and another important thing which is passing in my mind, of course,
yes, sir.
Many a times PIL is filed against state. The ultimate consequences is on large scale to third persons and poor people. Without those people being heard, it appears that principal legislature demands that at least some hearing, not individual, everybody affected, but some organizers representative is required to be heard. Because a builder files a petition, there is adjoining plot, the plot of corporation, but there is hurtment, and therefore purpose be direct to demolish it.
Right.
Court directs demolition of huts, but hurtment debtors have no voice in the litigation. They don't know. They have also some right of notice, show-cause notice, reply, rule of law, procedure, but they only come to know when there is bulldozer.
Right.
In some such case, there was a tragic picture that a girl is searching, a 16-year-old girl is searching a book in the debris. And I asked, what you are searching? He says that I appeared in the SSC exam of tomorrow and today, and tomorrow's subject textbook I am searching in this debris. Because nobody takes notice of it. And directly orders are being passed against corporation. You know this.
Right.
So for example, lastly, what happened? That free corona test must be done by private hospitals.
Right.
But order was passed. Maybe ad interim, but it has effect of final edition.
Right.
Then the private hospitals file petition or application and stay is modified. And private hospitals has to say something. So, locus as far as petition is concerned, it's good compromise. But does not mean that respondents are, or directly persons who are likely to be affected, is not to be heard. That's my humble view. I might be wrong.
Right, sir. Sir, if you can tell us how were your childhood days and
how
were your childhood days?
Childhood?
Childhood days, yes, sir. Your childhood days.
I was fortunately born, na, you can say, little upper middle class, and my father was scholar in economics. He was scholar in jurisprudence. He was scholar in Sanskrit,
Mhm.
and he was atheist and rationalist. And socially, he was so advanced that sometimes I feel that I am backward. To the extent that if I would have married a Muslim girl, he would have attended nikah without hesitation.
Right.
So he had rational atmosphere, hardcore logic, no any myth, no any inhibition. And he told that democracy should start from home, and therefore you must be able to hear the dissenting voice of your children. Democracy is not parliament. Here is the democracy. You disagree with me, even at the age of 13, 14, and you tell me where I'm wrong, and I will appreciate. So that way, it was a good atmosphere, a very good library of law books other than law in the home. And if you talk that what is this population problem, he would say that go to the library in a home library and take the book of Malthus and you read it, then we'll discuss. Malthus on population.
Right.
Unless you read this, you don't understand what's the population problem, how it geometrically progresses, and how your agriculture progresses arithmetically,
Right.
and what is the possible solutions.
Mm.
When we are school going children, he insisted we must read Times of India.
Mm.
And in the evening, he would, of course, very mildly suggest that what you have said today and what you have done.
Right.
So it was atmosphere very liberal, very liberal atmosphere, very liberal atmosphere. And he also sometimes told us that this social system wherein intellectual work has much higher remuneration than physical work, it is not justified.
Right.
The carpenter gets 10 rupees a day. Similar work surgeon does, he gets 1,000 rupees. Why?
Right.
It's a basic injustice in the society. So, if you can in future, you fight against it.
Right.
And he never thought that we must earn some more money. He was a very simple life. And he told us that simplicity is not a great virtue, but that is an asset to be honest.
Right.
If you are not luxurious, you will definitely be honest. But if you increase your need to a luxurious life, then you will be dishonest. So that keeps you honest. The simple way of life. I keep my office so simple, though some I can afford it, that common man can enter in now.
Very true.
He may be overawed by the show of the office. Otherwise, they would stop coming.
Very true.
So you have to be with the people if you want to work. That's our humble view. But in fact, we have become misfit in the society. And much water has flown in the river.
Right.
And ultimately, from the point of view of mainstream lawyers and mainstream society,
Right.
we have not succeeded.
Thank you, sir, for
Yeah,
making.
that's the view. That's the view. And therefore, sometimes I tell my friends and colleagues, including Vikram, that
Right.
सब कुछ सीखा हमने न सीखी होशियारी.
Sir, it was excellent definition of democracy which I have learned today. Thank you so much for that, sir.
Democracy starts from home only.
Very true, sir. Very true.
No, not in parliament. It has to be at home.
Right.
You must be able to hear the dissenting voice of your son or daughter if they are little grown up.
Right.
If you impose your ideology, it's not democratic way of life.
Very true.
And he insisted us to read in law also, to Salmon on jurisprudence. He didn't want us to read anything less than that.
Right, sir.
And very interesting small illustration, when after my practice in 2 years, I asked him once, I want to know something about Bombay Land Revenue Code. He gave me one copy of the record. He was sitting in his small office with another copy and told me to read the nomenclature, Bombay Land Revenue Code.
Right.
Then he asked me, what is revenue? Revenue is a rent or tax.
Right.
Because the state is the owner, it is collected by way of rent,
Right.
or it is sovereign tax. And then he expressed the opinion of various economists who were in the favor of the theory that it is it's a rent.
Right.
And some jurists said it's a tax.
Right.
And that was the discussion for 2 years. Then he said, test is tomorrow.
Right.
In a small town, he studied things jurisprudential.
Right.
And that is how we got those traditions, those sanskar, to go to the root of the things,
Right.
and not to read things superficial.
Sir, if you can tell us, what was your motivation to join this profession?
Motivation, from childhood, I wanted to do something good for the people. So there was some initial instinct to become a doctor.
Right.
To become a doctor. So I joined science, and I was not good exam taker. Good exam taker.
Right.
Anyway, but somehow I could not get admission in medicine. That was one thing. Fortunately, I say, fortunately. And short story is, once my father had come to Ahmedabad to discuss some appellate case and enter some appeal matter to the district court lawyer on tenancy matter. So he called me from hostel to meet him.
Right.
So we were in his office.
Right.
And they were discussing tenancy law.
Right.
At that time, we were not that much sophisticated. I also tried to, in between, pick something on the law. So that concerned lawyer, senior lawyer, was regular in Bombay University, and he was first class person. So he closed the books and asked my father that why you are pursuing him in his own colloquial language, that prepared buret. He is the person in this profession. He is the lawyer. I mean, let him at the earliest possible moment leave this prepared and buret case.
Right.
And he was right. 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 The next year I joined law.
Sir, what changes would you suggest in the present legal education system?
To some extent, everywhere my views will be reflected in one or other way, because we are subjective about these things. We can't be that objective.
Right, sir.
But present 5 years degree course, of course, good law training is given. I must accept good law training is given. One thing.
Right.
But the whole culture of the 5 years degree course is to get the employment in multinational corporations.
Very true.
Prime object
Very
to join, or to join some office of the big council and be and their view is on Mercedes and BMW.
Right.
Now, can we create some such culture that human right enforcement through judicial process is also part of law, and at least some part of our practice may be devoted for only cause, not profession or not business. And if some such culture can be developed, and nowadays we are talking more, instead of law, when we talk about law, we talk about computerizing, and of course in emergency this video conferencing argument is fine. Now people have started, this can be made permanent. Then ultimately stage will come artificial intelligence. People will say that now robot can do justice, but justice dispensing is human element is involved, and sixth sense of human is also involved. So let's not try to make it very computerized. It's more and more networking. And in my view, in those old days when there was no judgments were not available on computers, sometimes on a particular subject judgment was not cited because it was easily available.
Right.
Therefore, there was scope of evolution of law.
Right.
Now, on every subject, every judgment is known by everybody.
True.
At the tip of the finger, and therefore the scope of evolution of law is much reduced. So whenever in any conference, any function of law, more and more talks are going on for making computerization, but hardly anybody talks about better justice. That's my general complaint, because everybody, as if computerization is a solution for justice. No, it's only method. It provides efficiency for record. It's very negligible part of the system. System is sixth sense of a jet to do justice, and a really judge and lawyers wedded to the constitutional philosophy, which includes directive principles also. And when in the preamble we say, we the people of India, but some people knowingly and unknowingly, the bracket they say, except children of propertyless parents. So that bracketed portion in the mind is required to be deleted. We the people of India includes today's crowds of migrant workers. And it is sorry state of affairs that so far, for the violation of these human rights, no proper public interest litigation is filed anywhere in India. Are they not humans? Are they not citizens of India? Have they not right in Article 19 to move in India? If they are not infected by corona, proved that I'm negative, then also his travel is banned from one state to another state. Article 19 does not come in the picture. He wants to go to meet his family in the crisis. Article 21 is not involved. But let the new law students know that now this problem has crept in, and it has got now in the public knowledge, public domain, that crores of people in India are deprived of their fundamental human right, these migrant workers, and by due process of law, whether we can help him. An Interstate Migrant Workers Act, if I can't say it is breach of it committed, but it is murdered. Hardly anybody follows, including public sector. And that protects. But now the trend of the post-corona, or while opening lockout, is to still withdraw the benefits legislation for the enacted for the benefit of workers. Lots of acts are labor laws suspended in UP, In Gujarat, there is a talk of ordinance for the workers for working 12 hours a day. So the Chicago strike, we are reminded more than 100 years. People have shed their blood to get the working hours fixed. Today, how these workers are responsible for close of the factory? Why they should work 50% more 12 hours inhuman, and then also the same salary? That is the ordinance which the government is contemplating. And can it be challenged on the human right? And if somebody will challenge, what will be the fate of the litigation? I don't know. And I don't believe in God, therefore I can't say God knows. But some activist, human rights activist lawyer,
yes, sir.
now has to take up this cause of migrant workers who are not in thousands, not in lakhs, in crores.
True.
And they are daily suffering. Today also they are suffering. They are walking on the railway track, they are walking on the road. And they also suffer death by accident. And nobody takes note, because we, the people of India, some people put bracket, children, except the children of propertyless parents. That is the India. Now that bracket, that implied bracket is to be demolished at the earliest. And then we can make sovereign, democratic, socialist republic. Let's wait. A Sahil Udyan has been written, Kabhi to subah hoi. Kabhi to subah hoi. Oh, every week I have to hear this song, Kabhi to subah hoi. Every week I have to once hear this, Kabhi to subah hoi. Because some optimism is required.
Thank you very much for making me again understand my responsibility as advocate and making me realize what true meaning of justice is. Thank you so much for that as well, sir. Thank you.
And ultimately, otherwise, there is nothing much in my life. It can be written on the revenue stamp.
Sir,
It's a
sir,
very simple, small life. And from the point of view of mainstream, it can be easily written on the revenue stamp.
That is the modesty you have, sir. Sir, if you can tell us, who was your senior? Who was your senior whom you started your practice?
If I talk from the point of view of mythology, I am Eklavya. So I am self-made in my profession, and I am self-made financially, economically also.
Right.
And for that, a simple last, when I got my Sanand degree of LLB, at that time, Peter D'Souza was the only tailor who was teaching gowns, the advocates' gowns, and black coats.
Right.
So I requested my father to take me there to buy one coat and gown. We purchased, we paid. We came out of the shop, it is Reading Road. I told my father, the last financial aid I am taking from you. From tomorrow, I don't expect and I will not take anything. He was not very happy that it's a great struggle. You are trying, you will not, because that's, I know, I thought that I don't know struggle, but this is our financial year ended today. And that has ended. I have not taken anything from the family property. Whatever little property I have not touched, I will renounce it. And I have struggled. I had to work in a criminal court so that daily I can get some amount. And you may delete it, or one interesting, for within 3 months of my practice in the criminal court, there was a theft in the house of the chief metropolitan magistrate, K.N. Satwani. Some laborers came to drop some goods and clock was stolen. Complaint was filed. The clock was recovered. 380 case was filed. House breaking and theft from house for 10, they said. Out of 141 criminal lawyers in those days, bar, not a single lawyer was prepared to appear. And my practice was of 3 months.
Right.
I personally approached that accused, I will appear. because I am taught that every accused criminal case is entitled to have legal defense. I will defend you. I don't take any money because I am so much telling. I defended him. I had to cross-examine the wife of the chief metropolitan magistrate, and ultimately accused was acquitted because she could not prove that it is the Muddam of what Muddamal is belonging to them.
Right.
And clock was written to the accused because it was seized from it.
Right.
But mainstream lawyer, I did become unpopular. Even within magistrates also, they also did not like why this young man with some long hairs is out of the way and he is cross-examining wife of the chief metropolitan magistrate. But it happened. And one humorous incident I will tell you where I am defeated, that
Yes,
in
sir.
prohibition case I was defending accused 85-1 means disorderly behavior in a public state in a drunken condition. One accused was arrested, you are misbehaved after having drinks. So policeman came in evidence that he was not able to take care of himself, and we smelled his mouth and there was smell of alcohol. So then cross-examined, I asked that, are you drinking? So police constable was, can't say I am drinking because then he is coming to offense. So he said no. But I was nonplussed. Then I asked him, that then how do you know that what is the smell of alcohol? Because you have not ever drinking. No, sir, before prohibition I was drinking. Before Prohibition Act I was drinking. Therefore I know. I was nonplussed.
Very well, sir.
Such are very funny incidents occurred in life. Interesting.
Sir, what do you expect from advocates nowadays? How they shall prepare a matter?
I think the advocates are preparing matters very well. I think must is that what I come across in the High Court. Now these lawyers thoroughly prepared and they know all the judgments, rated judgments when they start arguing. Working. And they are so equipped by this computer system that sometimes they know judgment more than me. Sometimes they appear, they defeat me because I don't know some unreported judgment. And at the tip of the finger, there is a judgment. So,
Right, sir.
ultimately, of course, I hear from days of settlement that ultimately in the court he says, what you say is not very important. Who says it's important? And still, that fact cannot be ignored. Who says is important? What you say is not very important.
Very true, sir.
It speaks volume.
Right, sir. Sir, right. Sir, I have seen you and I have observed you that you are master of strategy. You prepare strategy in a matter so well. How do you do that, sir?
I no much idea, but we plan the things according to our common sense, which we have experienced in the past because of nothing. But much strategy is not very important, relevant. Question is only say when the movement is going to be a part of the movement. The strategy is
in not that question which you understood, sir. Strategy in the manner as to what should be the remedial measures to be taken, what should be the proper action to be taken. That is where you actually masterize and you do it such a way that you get that remedies easily. So that's how I'm asking.
I'm not sure I masterized really, I'm telling you. And that's only experience teaches you that what way should be found out, how the argument should be presented, what is the know thy judge, what point will appeal. Some people, some judges are particular ideology.
Right.
Depends. And which point should first be argued. But there are sometimes we fail because the judge is impressed by last point. First point miserably fails. All varies. And that's the beauty of the things, that things are variable. Otherwise, it can be mechanized. But
Very true, sir.
views prevail. But strategy, I can tell you, but when some good movement is going on,
Yes, sir.
at that time, at what stage you should go to the court,
Yes.
and at what stage you must avoid court. That is the real strategy. And there I always help my friends Girish Bhai.
That's what
Cool.
I've seen you, sir.
Why we have to go to court or no?
Yes.
Or at what stage we can go to the court, and to what extent, for what problem? Otherwise, sometimes a simple case will destroy the movement.
Very
Because people will start thinking that no, now we will get justice from the court.
true. True.
And sometimes it is necessary to solve the problem to some extent. And therefore, court proceeding is necessary. That strategy is really required. And there, I was consulted by many leading trade unionists who were fighting for the rights of the laborers.
Correct. So
For example,
experience was in such
we were 30 years, this employer started new strategy to bring injunction against agitation.
Right.
That 300 meters distance, you can't agitate.
Very true.
So if you agitate 300 meters away, then nobody knows that you are agitating against this industry or this factory.
True, sir.
And civil court started granting stay against the agitation, 300 meters.
Right.
At that time, challenge came to me, and I must say that by legal study, knowledge, strategy, we got all the stays vacated and judgments confirmed up to divisional bench of the High Court.
Right.
And I had also studied that in England it was necessary to enact law to restrain the court from interfering with any strike or agitation.
Right.
It's not a civil court's function. Common law court shall not interfere. Yes.
Message that you want to give to the legal fraternity, sir? Any message to the legal fraternity at large?
Message is now that very serious problem of migrant labor is there. Now I give message to all senior, even professional senior lawyers, that in view of the large-scale breach of human rights, some proper public litigation may be initiated for enforcement interstate migrant labor act.
Right.
That will go a long way. For it will help crores of people. My one public litigation, direct benefit to 125,000 people, sugarcane harvesting workers.
Right.
But this litigation, we are now practically on the verge of other side of life. We can now take this trouble, and it's not desirable to file at the High Court level. This is the case must go to the national level, and public sector should be also made parties that why don't we implement interstate migrant labor act, and all these new enactments of reducing minimum wages or increasing the working hours should also be. Now it's a challenge to the lawyers who talk about human rights. If it's not human right, there is no human right.
Right, sir. Thank you so very much for such an inspiring interaction, and I'm so motivated by today's interaction, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.